First champion of the 12-team college football playoff era will be crowned tonight here on ESPN. Ohio State, Notre Dame, 7:30 Eastern. Irish counted out early this season. They come in tonight as 8.5-point underdog. And they pull off one more surprise and win a national championship. Let's get into it. Paul Finebaum is standing by. He's ready to go this morning. Our crew is here and ready to go. Super excited. Paul, if Marcus Freeman does this, if Marcus Freeman finds a way to beat a team that looks unbeatable in this playoff and win a national championship, what will we say about him tomorrow morning?
Well, I think the first thing we'll say is what an amazing journey it has been. It has been the best college football story of the year. And the fact that Marcus Freeman has made Notre Dame, Greeny, one of the most reviled teams over history into the most popular team and the one that everybody is cheering for. But there's a couple of other reasons this could be very significant. I think it's pretty obvious what Marcus Freeman is fighting for tonight is the social significance of a black man winning the national championship on MLK Day in Martin Luther King Jr.'s hometown. That cannot be overlooked, and that would be one of the biggest stories of recent years, if ever, in college football.
Absolutely, no question. There were so many storylines that go into it tonight. Dan and Lewis, you both cover the sport for us here. Give us quick looks at it here. The way Ohio State has been playing, they look unbeatable. How do you find Notre Dame a chance to win this game tonight? They've been counted out all year long.
Well, they're going to stay true to what their DNA is, which is trying to capture the line of scrimmage, make 4 or 5 throws, just like he did against Penn State, in order to produce some explosives outside of the run game. Because you know, as good as Notre Dame is defensively, Ohio State's going to get theirs. They're going to get them in the run game and in the pass game. So Riley Leonard has to do something other than just run the football. So he's going to have to make 3 or 4 plays. And let me just go back to this as far as Marcus Freeman is concerned.
Yes, please.
They wind up pulling off this football game and they win this game. You put him in the conversation immediately at the very top of the conversation as being one of the very best leaders, motivators, and in-game tacticians in the game currently right now. Because Marcus has his hands in all 3 phases. He is heavily involved in offense, obviously in defense, and he makes the calls on special teams. They pull this game off. He really can't lose in this game, especially considering how much of a deficit they're operating against concerning Ohio State.
That's it. Give me the other side of it here. Ohio State. I mean, there were conversations about Ryan Day getting fired a month ago, and now all of a sudden here he is on the precipice of winning a national championship.
Yeah, it would be an outstanding performance by Ohio State to rebound off of massive disappointment. The expectation is they were the favorite to start this season in many people's eyes and should go get the job done. If I was Ryan Day and Ohio State, I'd make you stop Jeremiah Smith. If you don't stop Jeremiah Smith, I can't lose the game. I think that's the most fascinating part about this game. Al Golden, I think, is one of the best defensive coordinators in college football. He's the defensive coordinator for Notre Dame. They like to line up and go, me versus you. We're going to play man coverage. My guy better than your guy. Are they going to do it versus this young man? Because if they do, I think it's Ohio State by a lot. But will Al Golden kind of do what they did to USC last year with Caleb and just throw 1,000 different looks at him and say, you're going to march the ball down the field and beat us with somebody other than the best player left?
Paul, give us a final word on this college football championship game and this college football season.
This is really about a lot of things, but also redemption for Ryan Day. We all know what the narrative was, and it was real, Greeny. I know a lot of Ohio State fans want to act like it was the media's fault, but they were in bars after the Michigan game blaming Ryan Day and wanting him out if he couldn't turn this thing around. But he did. He admitted over the weekend that he told the team, I screwed up. I'm sorry. We will correct it. And that's exactly what he has done, and could be, we talked about Marcus Freeman. Ryan Day winning this thing is very remarkable as well, considering where he was just 6 weeks ago.
We'll have more on this as we go. As you see, our analytics think it's a much closer game than the 8.5-point number that we have seen. Paul, thank you.
PM, there's only one option. We got the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Ohio State versus Notre Dame. The Buckeyes, they've won the last 6 meetings against the Fighting Irish, including each of the last 2 seasons. Coverage begins tonight, 7:30 Eastern, right here on the Worldwide Leader.
SportsCenter on the Road is presented by Geico, and Sam Acho knows this stage. He played in the 2009 title game with Texas, and the storyline here is receiver for Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith. If, let's just say, they take a page, Notre Dame does, from Texas's playbook, focuses on Smith, removes him from the equation, which teammate benefits the most?
I think it's going to be running back Travion Henderson will have the biggest benefit if all eyes are on Jeremiah Smith. Why do I say running back and not a wide receiver? The reason why is defensively you have your system, your scheme, your structure. You're supposed to have your eyes in the right place. But if your eyes are all focused on one player, all of a sudden gaps can open up. You can be soft in the run game. And so if Notre Dame decides to make a change to the way that they play defense and put extra eyes on Jeremiah Smith, those eyes could be diverted from the running game. And so that means offensive line is going to have to do a great job of blocking for Travion Henderson, not just in the running game specifically. But remember, last week, Travion Henderson had a big-time screen for a touchdown to end the half. And so for me, it's going to be all eyes on Travion Henderson if all eyes on the defense are going to be on Jeremiah Smith.
So many weapons there for Ohio State. Part of the reason why Notre Dame is more than a touchdown underdog. So in your eyes, Sacha, what must the Irish do if they're going to keep this thing really and have any hope of a win?
Well, they have to be able to run the ball, and that's not just with quarterback Riley Leonard. That's also with running back Jeremiah Love, a star running back for Notre Dame who's coming back from a knee injury. And he played on that injury last week, but they've got to be effective in the running game. Marcus Freeman has said it time and time again. You have to run the ball and stop the run. And so I get it. Riley Leonard might have to complete some passes downfield, but this offense is predicated on how physical they can be in the running game. And that's quarterback run. We talked about it. Riley Leonard has 43 runs in these college football playoffs. That's more than 14 per game. But it's him and it's Love, like you see here against Penn State, on one leg, basically getting into the end zone. So you have to be able to run the ball on a stout Ohio State defense. And then after you finish running the ball, sure, take your shots. But then when you're on the defense side of the ball, you have to be able to stop the run. Those are the fundamentals of any type of football, whether you're in Pee Wee football or championship level. Run the ball, stop the run.
55 rushing touchdowns for the Irish this season. That's third most in FBS. Notre Dame has won it all since 1988. Sam Acho, we appreciate it. Thank you, sir. All right, you can see the college football playoff national championship game presented by AT&T, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. It's tonight, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. One game remaining and two teams are fighting for one trophy. Mama Leonard going to watch her son Riley Leonard go against the best defense in college football. Ohio State awaiting a Notre Dame offense. The Buckeyes haven't allowed more than 21 points since mid-October. Notre Dame's been grinding out wins over Indiana and Georgia and Penn State to get here. Chris Fowler visiting with both head coaches ahead of tonight's title game. It's Marcus Freeman and Ryan Day.
If you could ask a question of your counterpart and hope to get a transparent answer about the game, what would it be? Would you answer?
How many different ways you're going to try to get the ball to number 4? That's what I want to know. You know, he is. They got an unbelievable team. They're great talent, well coached. They got some special players. I got a lot of respect for Coach Day. You know, being a former player, you know, when you're not playing them, I'm a huge Ohio State fan. That's your alma mater, and the job he's done leading that program has been tremendous.
There's so many different things that, you know, I watched in the Georgia game and the Penn State game most recently. The way that the team continues to play hard. You can't take a play off against Notre Dame. You can't in all three phases. Just seeing the way that those guys have played on those big stages these last few weeks has been tremendous. And so we know it's going to be a huge battle.
Ohio State has been racing through this run to the CFP title game, outscoring opponents by nearly 20 points per game and outgaining opponents by more than 150 yards per game. The Irish, though, not to be outdone, have won 2 of their 3 playoff games, also by double digits.
Capital One Bowl Mania Preview is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Here of the field of 12 in the college football playoff. It's Notre Dame looking for their first national championship since 1988. It's Ohio